Getting FICA like Louima, plunged in the bathroom while record execs got the office with the window. Rebel music makes gangsters clap for a different reason. No hammers, no barrels, just applause and a reason to go home.
This is Blair Durham with Black Wall Street Today, your media hub for all things Black entrepreneurship, politics, news, and events in Hampton Roads and beyond.
Hey, would you like to be a guest on Black Wall Street Today with Blair Durham? The link is in the show notes.
And now, here's your host, Blair Durham.
Greetings.
Welcome. It's the 121st edition of Black Wall Street Today with Blair Durham. So excited to be here with you today and to share a conversation with two incredible entrepreneurs. Our 5th annual real estate readiness event, HR RealCon 2021, is taking place on April 30th and May the 1st. We're doing this event this year a little bit differently. We're partnering with VHCDC, Virginia Housing Community Development Corporation. We've got a first-time home ownership piece. We'll be dealing with all levels of commercial real estate. If you're interested in learning about flipping property, if you're interested in learning about wholesaling, if you're interested in learning about how to run a successful real estate business, this is also a free event. All of these events taking place virtually. You can get the details by visiting our website, blackbrand.biz. Without further ado, though, I'm excited about our first guest, the one and only Queen Sheba. She's the newest creative writing professor at the historically Black Clark Atlanta University, where she teaches poetry, storytelling, and fiction. She's a 2021 Grammy-nominated poet for her contribution to Robert Glasper's F Your Feelings, track number 11. Best Progressive R&B Album of the Year. Wow. Sheba is a 2018 Creative Loafing's People's Choice Spoken Word Artist of the Year. She also received the Gentleman's Foundation Gentle Woman of Artistry of the Year, a 2018 award for her work in the LGBT community for HIV prevention. Queen Sheba has 2 books, From Foster Care to Fame, short stories and poems too long for 3 minutes, and Run Ugly, a motivational book for runners. She was also a featured performer on season 2 of Verses and Flow, brought to you by Lexus on TV One, and she's been featured on Spoken as a poet on Lyric Cafe on BET's 106 in Park, as well as The Apollo and the feature-length film Spit. I want to welcome you to the show. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. That was a great introduction.
Was it good?
Yeah,
did I get it all in there? I'm so excited. So we've had some incredible poets on this show over the last 3 to 6 months.
Awesome.
And I was kind of in undergrad, really, really passionate about poetry. So I'm just excited to see it kind of come full circle. Welcome and glad to have you here.
Thank you so much. Yeah, Norfolk was the beginning of my spoken word career. I live in Atlanta now, but yeah, we used to be right on Granby Street doing poetry every other Friday at the Jaffe Art Center upstairs. I got fired from Bank of America. I used to do collections downtown in the Bank of America building. Oh, yeah. Yep.
Wow. So that was kind of was that one of your last jobs before you decided to do poetry?
It was my last corporate job. I went to Old Dominion. I graduated there in 2000. And then I stayed maybe another couple years to try to, figure out the poetry thing. But Norfolk being such a transient town, nobody was staying. And I was like, I got to get out of here. And so 2005, right before Katrina hit, the southern part of Texas and New Orleans. Well, it hit New Orleans, but, before it affected Texas and Georgia, I actually ended up in Atlanta with another poet who had moved from New Jersey. And I've been here ever since. But yeah, Bank of America was my last full-time corporate gig. I'm even a part-time professor. So poetry has been my thing, but I've as I've gotten older, I've done other things. I also DJ now.
Okay.
Other things, yeah.
Well, our show, Black Wall Street Today, is obviously about business. And so I always want to hear about translating your art into something that can feed you? Like, what has that process been for you? And what would you share with those that are looking to do the same? I'm gonna ping my husband, make sure he's listening. He's a words guy, right?
Oh, awesome. That's great.
Yeah. So tell us that part.
I hate to sound like an old fogey on the porch, like when I was doing it back in the day, but it's, a couple things are a little different. The advice that I would give to somebody right now that's looking to be a performance artist specifically right now, I would say, especially because of COVID and the pandemic, because you have to keep that in mind, that venues aren't the same. People aren't allowing the same amount of capacity. How they set up shows are different now. There's a whole new pivot. So at this moment in 2021, I would let the demand of you push you out of your job. While if, 5 years ago, 3 years ago, even right before the pandemic, I would say, if you're comfortable, go ahead and quit for a little while, take a leave, see how it goes. And then you still have something to fall back on. But, when I did, I actually got fired from Bank of America. So I was going to look for another job, but all of my friends were like, why? You've been talking about this poetry thing forever. And so I used what I learned at Bank of America about credit, about bills, about finance, about establishing a business, and then pivoted it to starting my own poetry company, and then it's evolved since then. So technically right now on paper, I have 7 businesses, and some are, really strong, and some are, just kind of there because that's what I've learned we should do, right?
Right. Establish the entity, right?
Establish the entity, right? Oh, you got an idea? Get out $100, get your LLC.
Yeah. And
shelve it.
You can leverage it later, right?
Yep, exactly.
Okay. So what is a poetry business, Queen Sheba? Like, what is a poetry? When you say, I decided to start a poetry company, like, what does that mean? Okay.
So initially, I was in management.
Okay. So you were managing
initially.
Initially.
I was, but I realized then that I was still really young. I've been doing, so this July makes 20 years for me doing.
Congrats.
Thank you, 20 years.
Wow.
So it's so crazy to look back on that 20 years.
It goes by so quickly, right? 20 years is like 20 minutes.
It's ridiculous. It is. So in the beginning, I was managing poets. I was saying, we're going to go here to perform. We're going to go here as a group. You're going to go here by yourself. This is what they're looking for. But I realized I was still really young in the game, and I wanted to be out there performing.
You wanted to perform, yeah.
I wanted to perform. I did not want to be sitting around doing paperwork. Now, later on, now that I'm a professor at Clark, now that I've actually created my own online course, I've created curriculums, etc. So now I manage poets. But actually nowadays it's not even managing, they're my mentees. And I've established a whole company called College of Dope Ass Writers, where these mentees come and say, hey, we want to learn. I want to be a better performer. How do I memorize? What's the best way to keep all your pieces and keep them organized? How do I start a business? Why am I starting a business?
Yeah.
So,
wow. You
start a business because, like Jay-Z said, you're not just a businessman, you are the businessman. Mm-hmm. So, and that's what it is, the same for poets. Anytime that they travel, anytime that they perform on Zoom, anytime that they get commission work from Pizza Hut or United Way or Metro PCS or get cast to be in a movie, anytime that they want to put things into a trust, learn how to protect their assets, Some of my poet friends are super rich and they've hit the $1 million mark, a couple of them. So it's time that they start putting their assets in a trust. It's time that they start creating trust funds for their children. And these are the things as an initial poet artist, you're not thinking about all this stuff. But I, for some reason, was always really interested in the finance side of being an artist. Like, how do you maintain a life? How do I buy a car? How do I buy a house? How do I make this quantify into a real life?
That's such a good point that you raised, because looking at what happened during the pandemic, the very first kind of opportunity inside of unemployment for gig workers taking place just in 2020. So, what were gig workers doing before then to kind of
crowdfunding?
Okay.
Yeah. Crowdfunding was the biggest way. And then people got tired of that. Then every other week somebody's, got cancer that we're crowdfunding. Every other week somebody's got an album we're crowdfunding. So every other week we got a funeral we're crowdfunding.
Crowdfunding. Wow.
So, one of my companies, the College of Dope Ass Writers, that class teaches you, hey, had you had your stuff together as a business, then I can help you apply for these EIDLs, these PPPs, and how to legally, so you don't go to prison, set yourself up on payroll so that you can have the proper report to send back for your PPPs and EIDLs to get them forgiven.
Yeah.
So,
sorry, my mind goes straight to business, right? And so I want to do you a disservice because I want you to spit some poetry while you're here, if you can.
Well, yes, of course, and I will.
And then tell that story too, about just 106 in Park and Apollo and all of that. Like, whew. What was your headspace when all that was taking place? And just, I got to hear about.
It's just like, for me, my journey has always been, I felt like I should be there. I never felt like I shouldn't. And so, yes, it was very exciting when all of these amazing opportunities happen, when they come up. Yeah, sure, I'm absolutely excited and grateful, but I never thought that they shouldn't. So I never was on deaf poetry, and that bothered me for so many years. But then when deaf poetry was over, if you're a good poet, you end up in the same stages and the same spaces anyway.
Right.
So
everything kind of
balances out. Yeah. People are still being introduced as deaf poets, and deaf poetry hasn't been on for 10 years. So let's find something else new to introduce you. Let's find a new thing. You know what I mean? Let's find a new accolade or something else that you're doing in your community that is of relevance now.
Yeah. So do you know Jessica Caremore?
We are very close friends.
I was going to say, it's such a small world.
Excuse me.
I was reading her bio and I was going, okay, Jessica Caremore. Wait, is this the Jessica Caremore? And then the same thing, like, wait, is this the Queen Sheba? I'm like, oh my gosh, like, how are they finding out about Black Wall Street today? It's really, really cool. Makes me excited.
I found out about Black Wall Street because I actually decided to go to further my finance knowledge, I decided to go into credit repair. And so I was building a credit repair Instagram page. Okay. And then after I learned all about credit repair and I can do it and it's super easy and blah, blah, I hate it. I totally hate it. I hate it.
Well, I think it's one thing to do, repair your own credit, but it's another thing to say, okay, now I'm a credit repair business.
Oh, man,
who has time for that?
Well, a lot of people do, obviously.
Because they're making a ton of money.
Yeah, people are making a ton of money.
I'm glad they're doing it because I think that's how it trickled down to where we could even find out that credit repair was
what to do. Yes, exactly. And how easy it is just to, clean up your credit a little bit and gain a couple more points and get yourself into a better situation. I could also talk about finances all day because it's cool to be an artist. It is, and I appreciate that people recognize that. But I think that especially when they talk about poets, they think that we're just some subhuman and that we don't really take care of our business. For some reason, they don't think that about singers. And for some reason, they don't think that about rappers when those two are and comedians, rappers, singers, and comedians are the most narcissistic, arrogant genres possible. And they mess up they mess up the most money. And people are like, oh, they're good, and the poets are like, no. Yeah. So it's like I wanted us, our generation, our genre of art to be responsible and expressive. I want us to be responsible with money. Too many times I hear poets are being kicked out of their homes or evicted or whatever, and it's just like, let's take all these hustles that you got, let's turn them into an LLC and EIN at Dun & Bradstreet. Let's do this.
Yeah. Let's run a real business. Okay. We have 4 minutes.
Okay.
How much time do you need to do a short piece?
60 seconds.
Okay, let's do it, and then we can dissect it after. I'm excited.
Okay, all right. Look, they tricked us. You're not supposed to love it unless I'm half nude, nipples protruding through on the video shoot, but you already know what I'm about. A self-sponsored headhunter, red, black, and green on my medallion, a black fist on my Afro pig. First rule, only fools Google the revolution. I tell these players the same as I tell these street hustlers. Your position's entry level, fronting like you're an executive and you work in the mailroom, getting FICA like Louima, plunging in the bathroom while record execs got the office with the window. Rebel music makes gangsters clap for a different reason. No hammers, no barrels, just applause and a reason to go home. And I can't lie and say I ain't thought about suicide, but if Jesus walks, then Allah runs marathons. Kickbox your skeletons, plan to make better decisions, work smarter, play harder, let your children love their father, procreate, plant seeds like a garden, and pray to God they find peace and self-knowledge. Because you're not supposed to love yourself unless you wake up like the Simpsons, expecting everybody to hate Chris and end up like Bobby and Whitney. Take control like Dave put the Chappelle show on hold and chant Pharaoh, Pharaoh. Tell the police to release the chokehold and let my people go. Yes, plan to make better decisions, because you do. You have to
plan to make better decisions, man. Like,
plan to make better decisions.
Wow, for the win. For the win. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Was that Let My People Go? Was that the name of it?
I don't even know what is that called.
That was beautiful. Okay. So I'm going to invite you right now on the air. So our really big event that we do every year is called Black Diamond Weekend. This year it has a 80s, 90s like college theme. I'm not going to go all into it because we haven't really, but like there's a space there for some live poetry.
Hey.
In the virtual building. It is the third weekend in November, the 19th through the 21st.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yes, I'm excited. Yeah. I'll get you my assistant's number and y'all can work that out.
We got to make that happen.
I'm excited. Thank you so much. And there's witnesses now live on Facebook. I'm invited. I'm there.
Live on Facebook. Yeah, because maybe by then the world might be different. Might be able to fly you in, have you do something live on the mic. I mean, it'll still be virtual, it'll still be hybrid, but it'd be cool to have you in the studio, the actual.
I've been really enjoying the hybrid events. So I like the hybrid. The hybrid is dope because you can produce it. So basically, COVID has turned everybody into TV producers.
Correct.
And movie producers.
We had for 2020, like we would never ever not incorporate all those elements again. Yeah. Even if it was fully in person, we still gonna have the crew. Everything's gonna be, So anyway, man.
I had just gotten to, in my own feature set, using, because so many places I was going had screens now, or at least a wall. So I had just started integrating my DJ to come up with like this kind of 3D show haphazardly. Like it was just like, we might as well play these videos of all these stills of all the places I've been all over the world. And then
we out of time, Queen Sheba.
Oh God, thank you so much.
Like we got to go to break. Okay. Cool. I really appreciate you being here. Look, we already have our next date on the books. I'm excited. Ready. Yeah, thank you for this time. Real quick, at least give us your website. Give us your social media really, really, really quick.
Yes, all my social media is super easy. It's The Queen Sheba. All my social media is The Queen Sheba. Sheba is spelled SHEBA. And then my website is thequeensheba.live.
.live. Love it.
This show was brought to you by the consulting services of Positive Vibes Incorporated. We do debt restructuring, we help with credit repair, and we put money into the pockets of real estate investors. If you're a real estate investor, get in contact with us. If you need debt restructuring or credit repair, get in contact with us. 757-932-0177, 757-932-0177.
Phenomenal. Stay with us online at Black Wall Street Today on Facebook and Black Wall Street Today on Instagram. And then follow us on Twitter as well at BWS Today. We look forward to talking again next week. Have a wonderful week. I have said and I will continue to say that the most important priority for the Black community is the Black community, not a particular political party.
Phenomenal. Hey, yo, when I say Black, you say Wall Street. Black Wall Street. When I say Black, you say